All right, what up, everyone? Sunday, February 18th, 2024, MMAOB Daily Podcast. As always, it's your host, Adam Martin, joined by my co-host here, Mr. Big Marcel. They're going to be previewing UFC Mexico City. And just remember, Marcel, we should preview the Bellator versus PFL Champions card as well. We should probably do that too. That's on Saturday as well. So we got two cards to preview, but we'll go through that one quick. Obviously, we like to do the UFC cards a little bit more in depth. Let's go set up the card right now using UFCstats.com for our bout order. Marcel, your overall thoughts on this card?
I mean, it's a pretty heavy Mexican card, you know what I mean? It's like really like targeted to the Mexican audience, which is pretty obvious. It's like you won't go to Mexico.
Well, it's in Mexico. So.
Yeah, so yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I understand that maybe a lot of people are like, yeah, this is not the most amazing card that we thought that was going to happen. But it's in Mexico. I think a lot of Mexicans are really happy with this card. So I think there are some fun matchups on it. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm always looking forward to UFC cards, that, the MMA in general. So, yeah.
I like the card personally. I think it's a good card. I was looking at it last night, getting my final picks in, getting ready to break down the card. So, yeah. So overall, I think it's a decent card. Okay, so let's get into the card, guys. We start off the fight card in the UFC featherweight division. We have Erik Silva taking Muhammad Naimov. And I got to be honest, I'm really surprised Naimov's opening up the card because he's been pretty impressive in the UFC, and I thought he'd get a bigger name than this, to be honest. As you'd expect, Naimov is favored here minus 298 plus 240 on Erik Silva, and I mean it goes without saying I'm picking Naimov, Marcel. Like I don't understand the fight really, to be honest with you. And like I said, Silva has not been impressive really in the UFC. The one fight lost to TJ Brown was like over a year ago. Naimov has looked really good. He beat Nathaniel Wood. He beat Jay Malarkey. I think he was a dog in both fights. Looked really good. The Hillman, very talented guy. I think I think he absolutely wins this fight. The question is, how does he win? I don't know. I mean, it could be a finish. It could be a decision. I don't know. Really, I'm not convinced either way. But I can't really see him losing the fight. I don't really understand why this fight's. It's kind of weird to me that they're giving like most of the Mexican fighters are getting favorable fights. This guy he's not Mexican. I think he's Colombian. But he's Venezuelan. Excuse me, Erik Silva. But you think he would get a fight he could kind of win? This is not a fight he can win. I think Naimov beat him everywhere. So I guess I'll leave the decision, maybe. What are you thinking?
Fucking weird ass fight, I mean, dude comes from a win over Malarkey and Wood. I know the Wood is controversial win, but still, that's a good win, even if he lost at a split decision or whatever, that's a good fight. I don't understand that Erik Silva comes off a loss against TJ Brown, who's not in the UFC anymore, who's in bare knuckle now.
Oh, he is? Oh, I didn't realize he got cut. Okay.
Yeah, he's fighting Mendonca, I think, in the Masvidal card. Yeah, man, I'm going with Naimov. I think he TKOs him by ground and pound in the third round or something, second or third round. So, Naimov. I mean, I think, to be really honest, only the teammates of Erik Silva and his family is picking for him.
Yeah, no, I agree. Just a couple comments. Yeah, no, Ortega would be interesting. How can I get in MMA business? Great question, Pato. I mean, dude, it's a grind. I'll just say that. But I would like try to start writing. That's the one thing. You'd have to reach out to some of these sites that look for contributors. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, but
my MMA news is really good.
Yeah, you could do that. Maybe reach out to Marcel on Twitter after, and you can get direct to the right person. I can't think of anything.
You should really Eric Colwell from my MMA news, always searching for people, and he's a really good dude as well.
I used to write for Erik. I just have too much on the go. I can't do it anymore, but Erik's a good dude, and yeah, I like writing for him. Okay, we'll go to the next fight here. We got Felipe dos Santos taking on Victor Altamirano. And again, it's a fight that, I think the guy that's not Mexican is, going to probably win. Minus 285 dos Santos and Altamirano. I think he is American, but obviously he's a Mexican background, Victor Altamirano. I mean, I think Felipe dos Santos had one of the better debuts when he fought Manuel Kopp. Obviously, he lost the fight, but it was like a very close fight. And he's a guy that, has a really good, what's it called? Just pedigree, I guess you could say. He came from LFA. He had some good wins there. And he was beyond impressive. I don't really understand the fight too much. You got a guy coming off. I mean, he is coming off a loss, I guess, too. But To me, it's I mean, the odds are the first two fights. There's two like basically 3-1 favorites, and I think they both win. I think the Santos wins and probably decision. And Altamirano, he obviously he's Mexican, but he does train in Texas. So that's kind of what I was thinking. But yeah, he's going to lose this fight. What do you think, man?
I'm also high on Felipe dos Santos, man. I think he's a very fun fighter. Comes from the Shoot the Box Academy, Shoot the Box Diego Lima. Really fun fighter. What I saw against Cap, they gave Cap a run for his money. Altamirano is like he's an okay fighter, but I don't really see like the next level thing in him. He's 2-2 in the UFC. Funny thing is that he got the win over Daniel Lacerda, which is like Dos Santos' teammate. Had trouble in the beginning, like everybody has trouble in the beginning with Daniel Lacerda, and then they can defeat him because he doesn't have a gas tank. Mm-hmm. I think Dos Santos wins. I'm going with a decision, not going with a finish, but Felipe Dos Santos for me as well, man.
Yeah, Victor's pretty tough. I mean, his losses are by decision, so it probably goes the distance. Antoine likes Dos Santos there. Yeah, I kind of feel like the first two fights are easy picks. I mean, we'll see, but this fight I think is more interesting here. We got Denis Bondar taking on Luis Rodriguez in the UFC flyweight division. So we have back-to-back flyweight fights. There's actually 5 flyweight fights in this card.
I love it.
I love it too. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of smaller fighters from Mexico, so it makes sense. And if we went to the Philippines, Marcel, maybe we'd have the strawweights. I always heard about that. They have them one championship. What do we got here? We got odds for this one. It's minus 115 Bondar, minus 105 Rodriguez. So it's essentially a pick 'em. I mean, the line could flip. We'll see. But Bondar, very slight favorite. Rodriguez, very slight dog. This is a tough one. I don't know, man. What are you thinking? I'll let you start on this one.
It's difficult, man. I really lost faith in Denis Bondar completely. And if you look at Luis Rodriguez, he has done well, but against lower level competition, and you don't know how this is gonna turn out. Still, I'm kind of big on momentum, dude. So I'm going with Luis Rodriguez. I think if you want to make a splash in this division, this is the perfect fight to get into the division, in my opinion. And for Bondar, he will be dangerous because it's like if he loses, he's probably going to kick out of the UFC, I think, Yeah. So I'm going with Rodriguez. I'm not sure I'm taking a decision win, but I'm not far from sure.
You have the button ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
Hit it. All right, consensus dog here. I mean, it's a slight dog, minus 105, but, some sites have him at plus 100. Luis Rodriguez, I'm with you completely on this one. Yeah, I mean, I've just lost faith in Denis Bondar. That's really what it comes down to. I said the broken arm or whatever against Malcolm Gordon, and then the Carlos Hernandez fight, it's a technical decision, but he got finished late in that fight. It was just, I think it was like a headbutt that led to the finish, but really he was going to get finished either way.
Was it the takedown with the bouncing, right? Yeah.
And honestly, I question both guys' records, but Bondar's especially, because if you look at the guys he's fought, they're just not good at all. Rodriguez coming over from Lux Fight League, and you know what? Like some of the guys, I mean, they're not like big names, but they have decent records, and I like that promotion. I think they've sent over some good fighters. He did fight in Contender. He lost that Jerome Rivera guy who was pretty bad in the UFC. He lost 4 straight fights, so that's not a great look. Although, if I'm not mistaken, Marcel, I think a lot of us thought Rodriguez should have won that fight in that card. It was a very close fight, and I think he should have won that fight. So I'm not like too worried about that. And had he won that decision, both his losses are by close decisions in his career. So I mean, really, like the guy hasn't been like stopped yet. So yeah, I mean, am I super confident when we go out and lay actual money on this guy? No, because I don't know enough about him really. He hasn't fought UFC yet, but I think he wins the fight. So I'll pick him too. We have a consensus dog.
Sorry.
There we go. No, it's okay. It actually was perfect.
What's the title purpose?
It's perfect fucking timing. Bosnia Moreno is going to be banger. I know. I forgot that I was supposed to be in the event originally. And no fights heavy 155 for sure. Another rematch for Royval. Talk about that suck. He fought bantamweight. Yeah, that's a good point, Tristan, as well. All right, let's go to the next fight here. We got Smile Killer Ziam taking in Claudio Puelles. Odds for this one: Smile Killer minus 205, Puelles plus 170. Well, I'll say this. I was pretty high on Puelles for a while. I picked him in like all his fights, and then he got destroyed by Dan Hooker. And now I'm completely off the wagon on this guy. He's a one-trick pony. I mean, that's pretty much what he is. His knee bar is amazing. He does have some good wins. Like he beat Jordan Levitt. That's a nice win. Clay Guida's a nice win. But Ziam, I think Ziam's pretty good, man. He's got good wrestling. He's got better striking, obviously. And I think he can kind of sprawl and brawl here, keep the fight standing. And I don't know if he finishes Claudio. It's possible, but at the very least, I think he wins the decision. I actually really like Ziam in this fight, man. Minus 205, I think is, some of the other guys are minus 300. I think he should be minus 300 too. I think he wins the fight. I think Ziam is a good solid pick here. What do you think, man? You're taking the dog. Oh my God, I'm wrong. Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
I'm taking Puelles, man, and it is not because I think Puelles is that great, but I think there will be a moment in the fight that Puelles gets the fight to the ground, and I think he thrives there, and I think Ziam will not be able to defend. That's what I think. If that doesn't happen, Ziam wins. Because it's the only way for Puelles to win the fight. Puelles submission second round for me.
There you go. So back-to-back dog picks were solid. This one's obviously a bigger dog. Ziam could get caught in other stuff. Yeah, I think McKinney subbed him, right? Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's obviously a worry. But I will say, I think he's looked really good since he came back to the UFC.
I agree with that.
He got cut, I think, and then came back immediately, right? Is that what happened?
Yeah, so it was like he got cut, and then they announced that they're going to France for the first time, to Paris. And then they were like, yeah, okay, come back.
All right, we'll go to the next fight here. We have the rematch between Edgar Chairez and Daniel Lacerda. And the odds for this one have Chairez, huge favorite, minus 340, Lacerda plus 270. The last time they fought, I picked Chairez, and he won, but the fight was overturned because, Chris Taioni, Marcel's favorite referee in the business, fucked up, and the fight got overturned. Now they're rematching. But I know, Marcel, you picked Lacerda. Are you hitting that button again? Or are you going to go with oh my God, you're going with him again? Let's do it.
I have to go, man. Lacerda is like my brother. I always pick him. You know that, and he always loses, but I always pick him because I think he's very talented. He just has a bad gas tank. That's his
terrible
problem.
Gas tank.
Yeah. Listen, man, if you are smart, go with Chairez probably. But I'm dumb and I'm going with Lacerda here.
Watch him win too, eh? I mean, he's got a puncher's chance, but I think he's going to gas again. I think Chairez submits him. Hopefully the referee doesn't fuck it up this time, because I had him last time and I was so angry with that. That was shit. Chairez, yeah, I think so. Mexico City, high altitude cardio weight cut later round. That's a great point. A very good point. I mean, it's very high altitude. He has a stereotype fighter on every card just for fun. Yeah, I know, right? What are you going to say?
I put Antoine's. You say he's literally the best OF4 fighter of all time. Call me another OF4 fighters in the UFC. There's
not too many. I mean, there was John Alessio, the Canadian guy. He went 0-4, I think, or maybe he's 0-5 actually.
He fought for a title, right, in the UFC?
He did. I want to check. Was John? I think because he came back to the UFC event when he was older. John went 0-1. Let me see. 0-1, 0-2, 0-3, 0-4. 0-5 because he came back. So John was 0-5. I mean, and Lacerda could be 0-5 and 1-5.
I think Elvis Sinisic at a certain point. I think he was 1-7, and he got that one win against Jeremy Horn in his debut. I think, and that gave him a title shot against Tito Ortiz. Remember?
Yeah. Let me double check this. 0-5 UFC fighters. I'm gonna see this. I don't know if I can find it. I have to. There must be a way to look at it.
John Phillips, maybe.
Maybe didn't he win a fight? He might have won one. I can't remember now. Anyways, let's go to Khadiz Ibragimov. He went 0-4 too. He wasn't very good. All right, we'll go to the next fight here. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this one. We got
Vinicius Moreira.
Oh, he was terrible. Vinicius Moreira. He was terrible. The dirtbag move by the UFC. I mean, they obviously want the Mexican guy to win. I think it's pretty obvious. But he might not. We'll see. All right, go to the next fight here. We got Hughes Aguilar taking on Mateus Mendonca, and odds for this one have Mendonca is the favorite, minus 142, Aguilar plus 120. Marcel, hit the button. Yeah, fuck. I don't understand this line, guys. I think Aguilar knocks this guy out. I really do. I was last fight with Shannon Ross. I understand Shannon's got a taper chin. I get that, but my fucking God, that was a crazy knockout. And I don't know how he didn't get a bonus, that guy. I was there with my friend and we were like, how did he not get a bonus? Not only that, but he lost the Tyro in his debut. Big fucking deal. Big fucking deal. This guy's got crazy power. He's got that crazy guillotine choke. Mendonca is not look good in the UFC. Got knocked out brutally by Nate Maness. Lost the decision at Basharat, which was somewhat competitive. But Yeah, I mean, he's coming off a brutal knockout loss, and I think he gets knocked out again. I'm a little surprised by these odds. I don't really understand it. Hopefully, I'm not getting tricked here, but to get Aguilar as a dog coming off that brutal one-punch knockout, he's going to be fighting in Mexico. I really like him here as a dog. I think he wins plus 120. Give me the dog here, man. Aguilar. I think he knocks him out, or he drops him and guillotines him. You going with the dog too? We have a consensus dog. Second consensus dog, boys.
I mean, give me Jesus, I mean, how can you go against Jesus? I don't get the line, to be really honest. And Mendonca, he's breaking a pattern, dude. You're coming on the shooter box and you color your hair blue, and not white.
That's why you're going to lose.
Yeah. No, I'm going to go with Aguilar. Aguilar has looked good. I also thought he looked good early on against Tyra in that fight. Early on, very early on, I'm talking about, when he had him in the guillotine, I think. But after that, yeah, man, I think he deserved a bonus last time against Shannon Ross. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm also getting Aguilar here.
Marcel's taken 4 dogs so far, guys. I've taken 2. We have 2 consensus dogs so far, Luis Rodriguez and Jesus Aguilar. So we have a really good record in consensus dogs. I'll have to go back and look to see what our consensus dogs are and see what the record is. But I think it's really good. It feels like they usually win, doesn't it? When we have a consensus dog, feels like
man. Win. Very often.
Yeah, I feel good about this now. Even better that you'd like him to. So there we go. All right, guys, let's go to the next fight here. We have, I think this is the final prelim, right?
Yeah.
Raoni Barcelos taking on Christian Quinonez. I don't really understand this fight either. There's some weird matchmaking on this card. I really don't understand this fight. Barcelos minus 170, plus 142 Quinonez. Listen, I know that Barcelos is old. He's 30. He's going to be 37 this year. And he's coming off, 4 of his last 5 fights being losses, but it's 2 really good fighters. Quinonez is coming off that loss to King. I know he's one of the better Quinonez. He's the better Quinonez brother. His brother Jose was not very good, but I know he's young. He's 27, or he's turning 28 this year. I don't trust this guy at all. And coming off a submission loss, fighting a good grappler at Barcelos. The problem with Barcelos is Marcel. He just likes to stand and bang, right? But if he goes to the ground, I think he wins easily. So hopefully he fights smart. That's the problem though with this fight is it's hard to trust this guy right now because he's not fighting smart. But I think he wins minus 170. I'm taking Barcelos. You know what? Fuck. Let me see here. I'm thinking either submission or decision. I want to see how many times Quinonez has been lost. Was lost by sub. He's been subbed twice. Okay, I'll take him by sub. I'll take Barcelos by sub. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking the same way, man. The thing is, people always call Barcelos a discount Aldo, which kind of sounds disrespectful, but I mean, he's a fun fighter. I always liked him. He lost to Umar Magomedov last time. Yeah, big deal. You know what I mean? He's obviously not going to fight for a title or anything, but he's super solid, I still think. And Quinonez is he had a good debut, I remember. In Paris, I think it was his debut, and then he got submitted by Kang last time. Yeah, I'm also on Barcelos here. I think much more talented, much more complete. Raoni Barcelos wins the fight as well. Yeah.
Couple comments. What's up, Blocked please? Jose Alberto Quinonez, that's his name. Yeah, that's his brother. They're brothers. Fighters don't want to fight abroad. Extra flight, room expenses, high altitude. Fights probably dictated by who's desperate enough to accept. I mean, maybe. I mean, it could have been one of these things where hey, you're going to get cut if you don't take this fight or something. I don't know.
I always have to, when I see Jose Alberto Quinonez, I always have to remember his Ultimate Fighter finale against Alejandro Perez, where I got 2 points deducted because of a headbutt to the chest of Perez.
Go to the next fight here. We got the opening main card bout. Chris Duncan. Let me say his name properly. Chris Duncan. Is that how you say it? I have to think about it.
Chris Duncan.
There you go. Scottish. Taking on Manuel Torres, a guy I'm really high on.
Manuel.
Yeah, the odds are close to this fight. I'm surprised by the odds. I got to be honest. Minus 118 Manuel. Minus 102 Duncan. I'm taking Manuel Torres. I know Duncan's looked pretty good in the UFC. I know that he's looked decent. He's a good striker, pretty good grappler too. But I mean, I think Torres is super legit, coming off the back-to-back knockouts, crazy power, huge for this division. I really like this kid. I've been high on him for a little while now, and I believe in him. And I guess it's because Duncan, is pretty tough. And then again, he did get knocked out by Slava Claus, and I think this guy's got that power. So yeah, it's gonna be a good fight, but I think Torres knocks him out. What do you think?
Yeah, man, I think that's a fun matchup. I think there's going to be either way, either one can knock the fight, can win by knockout here, man. I think Chris Duncan very talented. I think he leveled up as well. Now he's training an American top team. If you look at Torres has been impressive so far. I feel like the longer the fight goes, how more it favors Duncan. But I also think Torres might win here. I think it will be a very close fight. But I'm going with the Torres here in this one. Probably if he wins, probably by finish. If it doesn't go to a finish, the Duncan probably wins the decision. I think, but it's going to be a fun fight. I'm taking Torres as well.
There we go. All right, we'll go to the next fight here. We have the ladies fighting. Women's strawweight bout. Yasmine Jauregui taking on Sam Hughes. Odds for this one, Yasmine minus 485. I think she's the biggest favorite in the card. And Sam Hughes plus 370. I mean, this to me is obviously it's a setup fight for Yasmine to get back in the win column. Doesn't mean she'll win though, Sam Hughes is one of those like gritty type of fighters that she can kind of drag into deep waters and win it. And we saw that against my girl Jacqueline Amarin Marcel. Gets that win in that fight where she kind of dragged her into deep waters and won the fight after the girl gassed. So I think that's what she's going to want to do here, right? Gas her opponent out. I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, Yasmine, I just have some question marks about her chin, but she's not really fighting a power puncher here. So I don't know. I don't really want to lay minus 500 basically on Yasmine coming off a knockout loss. I don't think that's a great idea, but she should win the fight just because she is such a big advantage of the striking. It's just the chin is questionable, and you never know if Sam Hughes can drag it in deep waters, can she get her to the ground and grind her out and win a decision or maybe a late submission or something? I don't know. So I'll take Yasmine. I guess I'll take her by knockout because that's how she wins. But I don't know. It's kind of a weird one. What do you think, man?
The big difference in this fight with Jacqueline Amarim and Jasmine is that Jasmine doesn't gas like Amarim does, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And because of that, I'm going with Jauregui. I think Jauregui wins the fight. I got a soft spot for both Jauregui and Hughes, by the way. I think Hughes is great. It's a really good fighter as well, pretty solid. But I feel like she's, how do you say that? She has to have it from very hard work, you know what I mean? It's not really like the big talent, but it's like a really hard worker. And you saw that against Amarim, that she came back after that very bad first round. She won the second and the third. But Jauregui, I still have high hope for Jauregui, man. I still think the Gomez fight. I won't say it was fluky because Gomez did that very well, but I want to see now how she comes back after that fight, because I still think Jauregui can be a contender in the near future. And she's still super young. Picking Jauregui, I think she wins by decision.
Yeah, I think she could knock her out though too, man. I do,
Possible.
Especially in Mexico, she'll want to put on a show, I think. So we'll see. All right, we'll go to the next fight here. We got
El Niño Problema.
Bigfoot's son taking on Ricky Turcios. No, I'm joking. Raul Rosas Jr. taking on Ricky Turcios. Rosas is, I think he's a pretty big favorite again. Let me double check. He was like minus 1,000 last fight. He's minus 265 this fight. Plus 215 Ricky. I mean, yeah, you have to go with Rosas, right? You have to. Coming off that win over Terrence Mitchell. Obviously he got fraud checked against Quinonez, but he's so young that I don't know if it's a real fraud check. Because he's fucking, what is he? 19? Yeah. Like, I don't know if it's a true fraud check. This isn't a guy 30 years old. So that's the thing. Like, it's a learning experience, I would say. I was very down on him after that fight, honestly, but and I'm still questioning him a little bit, but Ricky has not been impressive to me in the UFC, man. Like, I know he won, obviously, Ultimate Fighter, very close fight against Brady. Loses to Zahabi in a really bad fight, and then beats Nativita in a fight that could have gone either way. Hasn't been impressive. He could be 0-3, and he could be.
Mm-hmm.
You'd imagine the UFC wants Rosas to win here.
Of course.
I look at Ricky's takedown defense, 45%. He got taken down 7 times by Nativita, 6 times by a high stand. And Rosas obviously has got good submissions and good ground game. So I think Rosas takes him down and grinds him out. I'm curious to see what the gas tank looks like. That's been his biggest problem. But I mean, I don't want to lay minus 300 in this guy basically, but I'll pick him. I'm going to take Rosas. What do you think?
Yeah, same. But I'm also not convinced. You know what I mean? I mean, the thing is with I'm sorry, guys, I had to yawn. Turcios hasn't been like really convincing to me, and Rosas has been in this fights he won, but still, those were not against top level fighters or whatever. It feels like this might be a tough test for him. I wouldn't be surprised if it is. Still, I pick him. I think he has more ways to win. And Ricky hasn't been very convincing so far in the UFC, so I'm completely with Adam there. I'm also picking Raul Rosas Jr. to win here. I also think the UFC knows what they're doing here.
Yeah, I agree with that. We'll go to the next fight here. We got just a couple of fights left in this card. We got Daniel Zellhuber taking on Fernando Prado, lightweight division. Good fight here. I like this one. Zellhuber's favored, minus 270. Prado plus 220. I like Prado. He's a good prospect, but I'm so high on Zellhuber, man. And I think he's really bounced back nicely after that loss to Ogden, where he just looked terrible. Looked really good against Venata and looked amazing against Giagos. And I think he'll be fired up to fight in Mexico too. So I think he wins. I think it'll be a pretty good fight. I think he probably wins a decision here, but I like Zellhuber quite a bit. What do you think?
I'm completely with you, man. I think Prado looked really good, but he looked good against Azaitar, and I always felt like Azaitar was a tad bit overrated, man. Mm-hmm. So I picked him in that fight as well to win Prado. Zellhuber is kind of the guy who is like, he looks super good on the Contender Series against Almeida. Then he had a very bad fight against Ogden. He won against Venata, but he came in trouble in that fight as well. And against Giagos also, like in the first round a little bit, So I don't know, man, with Zellhuber. I think he's very talented. I think he's still super young. Is he 25 or 24? 24 he is. I think Zellhuber wins. I'm going with a decision, not with a finish. I'm going with a decision here.
Yeah, the Golden Boy's young for sure. I think he wins too. All right, we'll go to the next fight, which is the co-main event. We got there quick. This is a rematch. We have Brian Ortega taking on Yair Rodriguez. This time around, Yair's the favorite, minus 180. Brian Ortega plus 150. I think the odds were flipped the first time. I remember I picked Rodriguez as a dog, and he won by an injury, so we don't know how that fight would have played out. This time around, they fight 2 years later. This is Brian's first fight since then, so he hasn't fought in between. And Yair fought Josh Emmett, who he submitted, and Volk, who he got knocked out against. Just like the first time I'm taking Yair. I don't really trust Ortega anymore, man. He hasn't fought in forever. He's a guy that is extremely talented. Obviously, his submissions are amazing, but I think Yair, the fight didn't last long, but he did show kind of that he could survive a little bit on the ground. And obviously, he had the submission, which some people say led to the injury. I don't really know. I mean, it's hard to really know, but I think, on his feet, he's the better striker, I would say, too. More flashy, more dynamic. Brian's a pretty good striker, but I don't know. I mean, it's just hard to know with Brian because he's had these fights, man, like the one against Chanton Jung where he looked like one of the best fighters in the world, right? And then, some of these fights where he gets destroyed against Max. It's hard to know with Brian Ortega. But again, all the layoff, all the injuries, I can't trust this guy, man. I don't think it's a great spot to bet Yair. I'm not saying that as a favorite here, minus 180. I don't love it for a bet, but as a pure pick, I'm taking him to win. And I'll take him. Is it 5 rounds?
It's 5 rounds, yeah.
I'll take him to win by stoppage. I'll take him by knockout in the 5 rounds. What do you think?
I'm taking Yair by decision. I think it will be a close fight, to be really honest. When the thing is, I can't listen. If you asked me 2 years ago, I went with Ortega. But Ortega hasn't fought, was injured. He doesn't have any momentum going. Didn't look great in that fight, although it was an injury. So what can you say? I'm going with Yair. He's been more active. I think he developed as well. We saw in the Max Holloway fight, for example, that he could do pretty well on the ground. Jair decision. I'm not far from sure, dude. Listen, man, maybe Brian Ortega 3.0 stands up, and I mean, we'll see.
For sure. And then we have the main event here. It is another rematch. In the main event, we have Brandon Moreno taking on Brandon Royval for the second time. Brandon Moreno minus 250, Brandon Royval plus 205. I'll let you start on this one. What do you think? Main event.
Yeah, to be really honest, I think Brandon Moreno wins the fight, man. I mean, Brandon Moreno still world class. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he went to a close fight with Pantoja, and that was much closer than Royval went with Pantoja. They fought each other, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. Moreno beat him. I know he also got injured, Royval, but still, Moreno beat him, And for me, it's like Moreno is still world class. Royval, he's a good fighter. Took the fight on short notice. Still favor Moreno. Listen, man, Royval, great fighter, but I don't see how he's going to beat Moreno, to be really honest.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of with you on that one. All right. I think you'd have to probably finish him, I don't think he would in decision. I'll say that. Royval's definitely a dangerous guy. He's got knockout power. He's got submissions. We know that. But again, I think the weakness is the grappling, right? He's 40% takedown defense, very bad. The first fight with Moreno, he got taken. I got injured, I think it was, and then a shoulder injury, I think it was, and then he got pounded out. And then obviously the last fight with Pantoja, he gets taken down 8 times. He did outstrike his opponent, but he kept getting taken down. Even that fight with Bondar, he got taken down 8 times, and one just because his striking is better. But in this fight, like Moreno striking matches up well, right? I do think Moreno's on a bit of a decline. I will say that, man. I know it was just a split decision to Pantoja, but he took quite a bit of damage. It looked a little slower in that fight, in my opinion. He's had some wars, the fights with Davison, the fights with Kaikara France. So I'm not convinced he's going to be a champ again. I'm not sure about that, man. To be honest with you, especially against Pantoja, who's beaten 3 times now, so he's in a bad spot. He's kind of in that Max Holloway position. But I think Moreno probably wins this fight again and grinds it out. You said decision? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think too. So we have the same pick there. Just a couple of comments here. We're not going to Mexico City, taking air. Fair enough. What happens to Brian with the loss? I mean, he might retire. I could see him retiring. Could you see that happening to you if Brian loses?
Possible. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. Anyways, all right. Let's just quickly recap the card. We had 2 consensus dogs: Jesus Aguilar, Luis Rodriguez. Marcel also took Puelles and Lacerda as dogs, and the rest of the fights we took the favorites, if I'm not mistaken. So 4 dogs to Marcel, 2 for me, and we'll see what happens. All right, guys, we're going to quickly go over and switch gears. We're going to go to the PFL versus Bellator Champions card. That's also this weekend.
Yeah, let's do it quick, dude. My eyes are almost
5 minutes, man. Yeah. I completely agree. I'm just going to get your quick thoughts on this card. So, yeah, that's this Saturday as well in the afternoon. Go through the card really quick.
Can I put it on the screen?
Sure. I just let me see here. 1 sec. I had the odds. Let me pull up on Tapology. Here we go. This is gonna be a quick one, guys, because I want to get Marcel ready for. Oh wait, Blake's asking if there's going to be an all Mexico parlay that can hit. It might. I mean, who would lose? I'm not sure. I'd have to look at it a little closer, but I think it's possible. I don't think they're going to lose like the Toronto guys, the Canadian guys. All right, let's go through these fights here. We got Headed Ferreira taking a Ryan Bader main event. Bader minus 148, Ferreira plus 124. I'm taking Ryan Bader. What do you think?
I'm also taking the Master. I think he wins the fight.
Johnny Eblen. Do you see his new girlfriend, by the way? I don't know if you saw that video. See that?
I don't know. Is that some publicity stunt? I don't know.
I thought he had another girlfriend. There was another chick.
Yeah, she looked much better, in my opinion. But hey, who am I?
Yeah, minus 380, Johnny, plus 300, Impa. I think Johnny destroys Impa. I like Impa, but I think Johnny wins. What do you think?
Johnny's world class. He's probably top 3 in the world, so yes.
Jason Jackson, minus 410, Ray Cooper, plus 220. I like Jason Jackson.
Me too. If Ray doesn't knock him out, it's going to be Jason Jackson. Yeah,
and that's at 182. Very weird weight class there. Vadim Nemkov moving to heavyweight, minus 500. Bruno Capoloza, plus 380. I think the odds are a little extended here, but I think Nemkov probably wins.
I also have Vadim.
Thiago Santos here is minus 120. Yoel Romero, plus 100. This is a weird one. I guess I'll lean Yoel. What do you think?
Me too. Santos hasn't looked great as of lately. And Romero maybe not that great either, but he still has that power that Santos is kind
of. And the wrestling too, right?
Yeah.
He should have it.
This fight is great.
I think this is the best fight in the card. Clay Collar versus AJ McKee. McKee minus 258, Collar plus 210. I'm taking McKee, but I think he's going to have to work for it. What do you think?
Yeah. 100%. I said it on the Bellator podcast I had with Santiago. Best fight on the card, man. And AJ has to work hard to win this fight.
But I think he wins. Going. He's a fucking junkyard dog.
Yeah.
And Eric Pico is minus 1,000, I think. Sorry, he's not actually. He's minus 300.
He wins.
Plus 240. I think Pico wins. I'm surprised the odds are only minus 300. Because usually minus 1,000. That's why I joked about it. But yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment Adam has waited for.
Finally, this guy makes his pro debut. Bellagio Ali Walsh minus 1,000. He should win, right?
Yeah, of course.
Clarissa Shields. This is 155 now. I guess she can't make weight or something.
Mm-hmm.
Minus 455. She should win, but I mean, I wouldn't bet on her. Would you?
Same. I agree with you, man.
The other guys, I don't know the Saudi guys very well, but they're both favored to win, or actually, there's one fight that doesn't have odds for. I think one got announced recently, right? One's an amateur fight. This one, but this other guy's minus 1,100. He's the biggest favorite in the card. He's obviously going to win, right?
Card really took a hit, dude, with Pinedo, Pitbull.
Oh man, I was so bummed out when I saw that yesterday, dude. Fuck.
Yeah.
Who were you going to take? I was going to take Pitbull.
Pinedo, man.
You were going to take him, yeah.
Yeah.
What were the odds for that one? Do you have odds? Pinedo was the favorite. Oh wow. Okay. All right. Anyways, that's good. I think we're done. Just a couple comments. We're gonna get out of here. Marcel's so tired. Would you all spend 85 grand on your girl? No. I feel like Brunson or Romero Santos goes distance. It might. Why is Ray Cooper not fighting Brunson? What happened with Brunson? Oh no. Oh, you're saying why is he not fighting with his Brunson beat him? I don't know. I'm not sure what happened there. Brunson just betting, I guess. He's not to fight anymore. Just betting.
And Antoine, seriously, man, I don't even have 85K, but why would I spend 85K on an OnlyFans model, you know?
It doesn't. It's weird. The whole thing was very strange. And again, like, I don't know. I mean, people are acting like this is like it's like normal just because she's like hot. You spend a lot of money on someone. I don't know. This is weird, man. I don't know. I don't get it. Miss DC and commentary. No, I thought I thought it was better. Didn't you think the commentary was better? Wasn't it?
No, I don't. Listen, man. I'm also not really the biggest Bisping fan in the booth, but
I thought he did well. I thought Rogan was better too last night.
Yeah, but I never miss DC when he's not in the booth, man. I think DC was a better fighter. You know what I mean? So that's my opinion.
How do you guys think Aaron Pico would do in the UFC and McKee? I think they both do well. I think McKee was a guy that I was hoping would go to the UFC.
Me too.
By the way, are any of the guys that Bellator cut besides Michael Page going to the UFC? Is there?
I don't think so far. No.
Fuck. So they just got Michael Page, and I know Dave is excited about that apparently. But Michael Page is 37 now, so
I don't understand why they're so excited about it. I think he's gonna get smashed by Kevin Holland, but hey, who am I?
Same here. I don't know. Who are you? Potan versus Hill. Oh, tough one to call.
It depends what Hill's game plan is. If Hill's gonna strike with him, he might be fucked, you know. But if he's smart and he's wrestling and he's using his ground game, he can win the fight. I don't say Hill cannot win the fight if he strikes with him, but it's a less likely outcome. You know what I mean?
It's tough. It's a tough one to call because Hill looks so good against Glover, but it's been a year now, and you know he's been injured. So, all right, let's get out of here because I know Marcel wants to go and get out of here. So appreciate you guys all joining us today, and you know thanks again everyone for tuning in. And yeah, so we have the Mexico podcast here, and we'll see how the picks go. But yeah, hope you guys have a great week. We'll be back next week. We'll be recapping this card and breakdown the next one. Take care, everyone. Peace.